Well, hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Surprise. I'm getting ready to record Mike in the Midwest 2 days early and on all of our locations so everybody can see for episode 250. So if you just happen to be on socials right now, you're getting to see Mike in the Midwest for free if you're watching live. This is our patron show. This is what our patrons get every week. We're going to have some fun here talking about one crazy article of clothing in the main topic. But until then, we're going to recap what's going on around the studios this week. So here we go. Let's have some fun. I think we're live. I think we're live. I think we're live. Yes, we are. I'm getting that crazy Wi-Fi symbol there. But it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about the last day of school shirt. All right, let's do this. Episode 250. Wow. It's been a minute since COVID. All right, that's good. Got the comments. Here we go. Hello to Steffi K. Gregg over on Instagram. Now, remember, we don't usually do these on all the outlets. It's just for our patrons. But since it's episode 250, why not? One bonus show. Here we go. And again, this isn't much. This is just a little throw in for our patrons who support the podcast usually. Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to episode number 250 of Mike in the Midwest, our mini podcast for the amazing patrons just like you of the Be Our Guest podcast. Of course, my name is Mike Rallman, host of the Be Our Guest podcast, which you can find at beourguestpodcast.com. And you can find me at Be Our Guest Mike on x.com, Instagram, and Threads. But mostly you can find me in our Be Our Guest podcast clubhouse, which is our Discord server. It's free for everybody. So come on over and hang out with us. We are over 1,400 strong in the clubhouse, and we've talked about everything. I'm just thinking about what we've talked about today. Just today, we've been talking about Wawa coming to Memphis, Tennessee. I think I saw this morning in the Living Room channel. We're really talking about a ton of Alaska cruises in the Disney Cruise Line travel. Also Italian cruises over in Italy. We saw the Fantasy over there. We have a listener that's live tweeting or live posting from over there. What else are we talking about? We're talking about the U.S. Open and the Sports Center channel. Just find a channel, jump in. We're talking, one of our great listeners, Jason, who is the ultimate statistician in his real life when it comes to college football. He wrote a script that has you constantly comparing two attractions against each other. So you can actually go in there, and it's in the theme park channel on the Discords. Go to beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. Click on the theme park channel. And if you scroll through there, you can find it. We'll have to pin it or something after the show. But what it is, you can do it a couple of ways. You can pick your favorite theme park. So say you pick Epcot, right? It'll go through every attraction in Epcot, and it'll randomly pick two attractions, and you have to pick which one you like better of the two. So it'll just randomly pick, say, Nemo and Friends against Living with the Land, and you'll pick which one of those two you like best. Then it'll shuffle to another two. It'll pick Frozen Ever After against Remy, and you have to pick. And it'll just keep shuffling through Three Caballeros against Spaceship Earth, and then it'll pop back up like they'll select Spaceship Earth against Frozen Ever After, and just keeps going until I guess it gets every possible combination, and then it spits out your rankings of your overall rankings and percentage of how you like the attractions in each theme park. Now, here's the kicker. It takes a little bit of time to do that because of how many possible combinations there are. Epcot's not, obviously Magic Kingdom's going to take longer because there's more attractions in the Magic Kingdom than there are in Epcot. But he has one for every attraction at Walt Disney World. So it would have, say, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train against Expedition Everest. Then you might get, Slinky Dog Dash against, say, Peter Pan. And the thing is, with that many possible combinations, you better pack a lunch because it is going to take you forever. But you get this awesome list of what, I mean, and if you really think about it, every time you make a choice, and some of the choices are hard because you're like, I remember I was doing this with Epcot the other day, and I was like, man, like it was like Spaceship Earth and Living with the Land. And I love both of those attractions dearly. And I do like, I think Living with the Land the best because it's water, it's a boat. But man, I love Spaceship Earth so much. Like I couldn't do without either one of them. And sometimes you're in a pickle, like which way to go with that. So anyway, long story. Just to first of all thank Jason for sharing that with us, but also come on over. It's totally free in our clubhouse. Just BRGuestPodcast.clubhouse. Jump into the channel there it's WDW theme parks channel and mess with it. Like it's the weekend, right? Jump in there. But I'm telling you, man, pack a lunch if you want to go the whole Walt Disney World one, because the possible combinations, the length it's going to take you, but what you find out about yourself, you're just like, oh my gosh, because it'll tell you. Here's the thing we learned, because everybody for some reason picked Epcot at first, like when we first started doing this a couple days ago, and it gave, because we're all sharing our results, right? And it tells you the percentage of how much you like each attraction in the park. Mission Space was getting 0% of the love. Like for me, I got 0%. I had 0% for Mission Space. Like I always picked it. I never picked it against anything else, which was sad because I'm a space person. Like I worked at space camp for 2 summers. I was an instructor there. I love space, but that attraction just, it's not good. It's not good against anything else. And everybody else, when I looked at the results, Mission Space was the last thing. And a lot of times it says 0%. It was really sad. And you start to see trends like that. And it's really interesting. I mean, Jason's got to love this, right? Because he's getting all this data because he's a statistician. And he's also a huge, like, right, Disney fan. So when he sees this stuff, I mean, this has got to be his dream. He can look at that and say, oh my gosh, like this attraction's always in the bottom third. But like, I'm very interested in it as well. Not as a statistician, but I just like to see what people enjoy. Like what are, like, because I we kind of know each other in the clubhouse now. Is kind of like a little online family. And it's interesting how some of us are so similar. When I look at the list, I'm like, God, that could have been my list. Like we almost like the exact same things at the very top, like our top 5. It's all the same 5, just 3 and 4 switched up, but they're almost exactly the same. And then some people are polar opposites. Like, Guardians is their number 1. I'm like, oh my gosh, Guardians is like 9 for me, just for the fact that it makes me want to hurl. But it's a great attraction. But it's very telling of how you see the theme park. So just come by the clubhouse. It's absolutely free. I never want to charge for this is a bonus Patreon show that everybody can see this afternoon on all the socials. If you just happen to be tuned in live on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or wherever, this is episode 250 of Mike in the Midwest. So I decided, one, I'm doing it a little bit early because Sunday's Father's Day and I want to spend some time with the girls. So I don't want to do the show on Sunday. I was going to do it tomorrow, but tomorrow we're having the family over for Pam's dad. So we're doing a celebration all day here at the house tomorrow. So here's the show. We're doing it right now. So I figured instead of just recording it on YouTube kind of stealthily as I do on Sunday mornings, here we are. So this is what Mike in the Midwest is. It's not anything special. When you donate $5 a month to support, you're not supporting Mike in the Midwest. Let me make that clear. You're supporting the big show, Be Our Guest Podcast. You're supporting Ricky, Pam, Scott, and myself, keeping us doing the big show so that we can do the Monday shows, the trip reports, the listener questions, the Friday shows. We can do the call-in shows on Sunday nights. We can keep all that going. So that's where your $5 a month goes. It goes to all this video hosting and all this stuff. I only do this little thing because I know it's not great. It's just like a thank you once a week, just an update of what's going on behind the scenes and just kind of a fun little, I talk about retro stuff. I just talk about what's going on. But it's, this is not a great show. This is just me rambling for usually about 25 minutes. And if you've never heard one, this is all there is. It's not a lot. So, and thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Happy Father's Day wish. That is very nice. So anyway, and Steffi Greg says, thank you for the show. Well, you're very welcome. I appreciate that. So let's So let's talk about what's going on around here. I always give a weather report. It's raining and raining and raining, but I think it has stopped finally here in St. Louis for the moment. I think I'm going to get to take the doors off my Jeep this weekend, so I'm pretty excited about that. I think it's gotten warm enough. I think the rain's going to stop long enough. I still haven't taken them off, so man, that's when summer starts for me, is when the doors come off the Jeep and I can drive around with my foot outside. That's the best. So I think that might happen this weekend, and I'll be super excited. That'll be Father's Day gift to me. If Sunday I can drive the Jeep, no doors, get to Dairy Queen, get my brownie cupfection with whipped cream on top. Yeah, that'll be a good Father's Day. So we'll see. But we're celebrating Father's Day with the girls Sunday. My girls here on Sunday, but with Pam's dad here tomorrow. So it's going to be a busy, busy weekend here. Don't know what you guys are doing, but hopefully it's fun. You get to celebrate with your family, and everybody has a great Father's Day on that end. I will tell you, Scott and I have been knee deep in planning for the podcast cruise because, one, it's getting super close. It'll be 3 weeks from this Sunday. Super close. Also, speaking of, I found out this morning, I got an email from Disney Cruise Line that I was cleared to sail. My wife was not cleared to sail. Her birth certificate got kicked out. So I had to resubmit her birth certificate because the one she had was older than Methuselah, but I didn't know she had an updated one. So I had to take a picture of her new birth certificate and sent that in today. So we'll see if she'll get to sell. I mean, she's got a new one, but I sent her old one in by accident. So we'll get that figured out. But anyway, Scott and I, we're ready to sail. We have lots of cool stuff planned. Like we're working on the itinerary day by day of the cruise. We finally have a slogan for the cruise, which we didn't have before. We have a logo for Podcast Cruise 7. Now, I will tell you, this has been so fun. So Scott's wife, Elizabeth, is very creative, right? And you've seen her on the Must See Adventures videos, and she does the voiceovers. It's great at that. And also Emily, his daughter, is very creative too. And they're part of this squad that's helping to come up with this logo for the podcast cruise. But we're also using Chat GPT image generator to kind of aid in this. And now I don't know if you've ever used Chat GPT to like create images. You remember a couple of months ago, back when everybody was making the action figures, right? And I made a couple online that was like me as a Mizzou podcaster. There was like the action figure, and then there was one I had with Riley, my dog, where it had like a pup cup and but everybody's making the action figures like in the blister packs. Anyway, we have one, and I haven't shared it yet because I don't think Scott wants to share it yet. But man, it is so good. But getting there was half the fun, right? Because we had one that was so good. It had this shirt that I wanted. I was wearing this rocking shirt. I mean, it had Mickey's on it. It was like a super Hawaiian Mickey shirt. The ship look behind us was perfect. I mean, it was so good. The only thing wrong with it, and I'll share this once we share the official one, because this one's better than the official one. The Scott was rocking like a Pete Vukovich mustache for some reason. It had this wicked awesome mustache on Scott, which I don't know where that came from, but I told Scott, I was like, dude, I want to use that logo so bad. So you have 3 weeks to grow that exact same rocket mustache. I'm like, I know that logo doesn't match you because it looked like me. I looked like it nailed me on the Chat GPT like image, and it looked like him except for the mustache. So I told him, the logo doesn't match you, but what you need to do at this point is match the logo, because this mustache, man, it was it wasn't Raleigh Fingers, but it was more like Pete Vukovich, if you know, like a baseball reference. It was kind of like, came down, and I was like, oh my God, that's such a rocking mustache. I don't know why I drew it in there, but it was so good. So I will share that once we share the official logo, because that one may be better. But we have this really cool logo, so we have that. We've ordered the stuff we're going to give out on the cruise, so we're excited for that. It's all being shipped, and we're trying to figure out how we're going to get it all down there. But it's becoming real, right? Because we're less than a month out from sailing, getting ready to decide like all the ins and outs of scavenger hunts and so forth like that while we're on the ship. So super excited for that. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. As long as everything gets here that we've ordered, we'll be good and assembled, and we're gonna have fun. So hopefully you are having some fun planning for your summer events. It's gonna be mine once the podcast cruise is over. Man, I don't know what I'm going to do the rest of the summer because I don't have much planned because we got to get back. Mallory has cheer camp starting the day we get off the ship. So we'll be late for that. All right. So let's hit the feedback from last week's show. Last week we talked about small toys. When we were kids, it was such a big deal to get small toys like stompers and yo-yos and I don't know, just like little $5 action figures. Like that was a big deal, man. I love that kind of stuff. And it seems kids nowadays tend to get like, they get big toys, they'll get like, they'll have an iPad and then they'll get apps, but they don't get like a ton of little, $5 toys, little, like we got little, like I go to the drugstore, Walgreens had like a toy aisle and, there's a lot of cheap little stuff, but I'd always get like little cheap little things, like little stocking stuffer kind of toys. And I don't see kids playing with that kind of stuff very much anymore. So let's see what we said. Dennis says, I smiled when I heard you talk about playing The Little Mermaid for Paige in the car on the way to Disney. When I was a kid, my family would drive to Walt Disney World for our annual vacation. My parents would get picture books from various movies that came with a cassette tape that told the story from the movie. We had Star Wars, some Disney movies, Indiana Jones, and a few others. They would play those over and over on the way to vacation to keep us entertained during the drive. A few times during the drive, they would surprise us with small dollar bin type toys. They were nothing big, but it would usually keep us distracted for an hour or two. I love flying on vacation these days, but I'd be lying if I didn't say there was some nostalgia for those long road trips. Dennis, you just nailed it. Couple things there. God, I can't believe I'm saying this. I do kind of miss the old road trips. And they were long, 15 hours from St. Louis, but there was something about packing the car, the excitement of hitting the road. Like we always stopped at the truck stops. We always stopped at Love's. I always had a rule. Like when we were going to stop to get gas, it always had to be at a truck stop because I always said truck stops were fun. And so we'd always get out. There was this truck stop in Paducah, Kentucky that had the world's biggest ceiling fan in it. It was right at it was a Love's in Paducah, Kentucky off I-24. Gigantic ceiling fan. So we'd always have to stop there to get gas so we could see that ceiling fan. Dumb, right? And then, we had our favorite places. We'd always stop. Valdosta, we always stopped to get gas. But we'd always, I posted in the clubhouse in Mike's favorite things channel about the easy cheese. We always packed easy cheese and club crackers. That's what we ate in the car on the way. We had a bunch of things, but we always had easy cheese and club crackers. Because it was, like as the driver, I never had to make my own. Like everybody make them for me and just hand them to me so I could eat them. But it was like traditions like that. And, was it a hard drive? Yeah. It wasn't easy to drive 15 hours, but it was one of those things. It was an event. But again, I was younger, right? I was in my 30s. My back wasn't as jacked up. I wasn't running as much. I don't know that I could take 15 hours I know I couldn't take 15 hours in a car right now. You'd be scraping me out of the car by the time you got to Walt Disney World, but I'm glad we did it. It's one of those things like if I would have had the means to fly back then, all those times, I would have missed out on all of our road trips. And when we look back, we always talk about the road trips. Pam and we talk about the fun road trips there. Because I'll tell you real quick, I don't know if I know I've told this story on the show before because we've been doing the show for 18 years. I'm sure we talked about it at the time, probably 15 years ago. We borrowed my in-laws to drive because our car was not going to make it, right? So one of the trips, when this is a trip we took Paige's best friend Molly, and they were both 9 years old at the time. We drove down and back to Walt Disney World, stayed for like 9 nights. And we took my in-laws, they had a Monte Carlo, which isn't a huge car, right? But it's like we called it Mama's race car because it was a sweet car, dude. It had a big engine. So we took the Monte, drove it to Florida. Well, somehow on the way home, like I don't even know what happened, but like it wasn't the accelerator, but like the throttle got stuck. So when you would start the car, it would rev up super fast. So we were stuck somewhere outside of like like between like the border of Tennessee and Kentucky. I mean, we're still far from St. Louis. We were probably 4 hours out. We were on this side of Nashville, but we were still pretty far from St. Louis. And we stopped at this McDonald's. And we called like Pam's dad. He was a mechanic for a Chevy dealer here in St. Louis. And so he's like, dude, he's like, we can come get you, you know, and tow the car. But I mean, we were 4 hours away. But he's like, man, if you can get it on the interstate, I'm like, because it happened earlier. And I'm like, you know, I can get on the interstate. Like I can get it. Like once I'm on the interstate, we can go like 80 miles an hour. And we're good. Like it won't go past 80. We're fine. So, but I'm like, as soon as I start the car, the thing goes super fast. So he's like, so we called him and he's like, okay, here's the deal. And we're at a McDonald's at this little right off the interstate in Kentucky or Tennessee, right at the border. So we get something to eat real quick. We all go to the bathroom. We're like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're getting in the car. And as soon as I start this car, it's going to start blasting out of here. So I start the car. It like, and dude, I peel out of the McDonald's. And fortunately, there was no traffic. I right on the side road, right onto the interstate. I mean, thank God there was like no traffic. There's like 2 on a Sunday or something in the afternoon. Get right on the interstate. And we go, no kidding, like all the way. We went like another 120 miles until we had to stop again. And then at a gas station, we had to make sure we stopped, that we had a clear exit so we could get back. We made it home, like to where her dad met us. It was the most unsafe thing in the history of the world. Like something was seriously wrong with this car. And it was like V8 Monte Carlo. This thing had so much power. And, you know, 2 kids in the backseat, Pam. It was the craziest thing ever. Cause I mean, we had like, cause it had OnStar. Remember OnStar? We called OnStar and they're like, there's like 5 lights, you know, something malfunctioned, all this, but we, you know, we're so far from home and we're school teachers. We didn't want to pay to get it towed from 2 states over. Oh, but yeah, but I mean, again, road trip story. I'm glad we have that story. Thank God we lived. But the thing was like, when we left a scratch at McDonald's in Tennessee to get out of there, we're young and stupid. So please don't come at me. We didn't know what we were doing. I just wanted to get my in-laws' car home to them. I just got married to their daughter. I didn't know what I was doing. I would not do that today. I was an idiot. Anyway, so that's stories from the road. So Dennis, thanks for the great memory. You're exactly right. And I had many of those books on tape and many of those books on record, right? Where like when you hear R2D2 go, doo, 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 turn the page. I love those things. That's how I spent a lot of time as a kid. So great. Thanks for bringing that memory up for me. Trisha, our good friend up in Wisconsin, says, happy Father's Day, Mike. I'm proud to say that I too wore out a VHS tape of The Little Mermaid. I was 4 when the movie debuted. Oh my gosh. So prime princess age, there are 2 small toys that I played with extensively. Polly Pockets, a compact, when opened, relieved a tiny world of microfigures. Yes, because I stepped on pages all the time. That's like Legos. Those things hurt so bad. And microfigures, and calico critters, small 3-inch figures of animals. You could buy a house and furniture. I believe that both are still available. Currently, the small toys that are hot are the mystery packs. Every family vacation, I buy some sort of mystery toy that my daughter opens on the plane. One time I didn't buy one for her, thinking she had aged out, and she was really bummed. Thankfully, I found one at the airport kiosk to keep the streak going. And have you considered a Pac-Man face for your Apple Watch? Could be a good combination of your childhood dream and keeping up with tracking your activity. I don't think there is a Pac-Man. It's not an official Pac-Man watch or watch face for the Apple Watch, but it's a good idea. Maybe. I mean, I keep my activity going, trust me, but I do Mickey on vacations only. That's my rule. Mickey is only for vacations. So just to keep it special. Otherwise I use like my Nike ones. But yeah, Polly Pockets, yeah, stepped on pages all the time because she'd leave them laying and it was like, it killed me. But those mystery things. So again, this is showing my age. Back before Disney Springs was when it was downtown Disney, over in the marketplace where the co-op is nowadays, there was a little place that was called, believe it or not, there was a store that was called like Disney $10 and under. It was like a Disney dollar store, but it was $10 and under. And in that store, they had brown bags. No kidding. Like the brown bags you would brown bag your lunch in, like just those brown bags, right? And you could buy a mystery bag for, I think it was like $10 and under. So I think they're like $5. And what they did was they just put last year's crap in it. So it would be like, for 2025, like it would have like 2024 keychains and magnets and I don't know, like pencils. It's like just little cheap, tchotchkes and stuff. But what it is, there are mystery bags. And so Paige, she always got one of these on her vacation, but and there would be like 50 of these bags on a table, but you didn't know what you were getting. They were blind bags back in the day. And she would like, oh my gosh, she would stress over which bag to pick. It was like so stressful for her. I'd be like, Paige, just pick a bag. Like for real. We've been here for 10 minutes. They're all the same. It's just a different combination of junk. Pick a bag, pick a bag. And she'd be like picking them up, shaking them. I'm like, Paige, pick a bag. Like just grab one. And then of course you grab one back. Oh, I didn't get the right one. I'm like, yeah, you did. They're all the same. It doesn't matter. It's all, it says 2007, who cares? It's a keychain. But for a kid, but she, it was fun, but gosh, she stressed over that forever, but she was a frugal shopper and still is to this day. But yeah, I don't know if anybody remembers the $10 or less store at downtown Disney. It was right across from Captain Jack's, right next to Once Upon a Toy. Anyway, good memories. Finally, our last piece of feedback is from Audra. My boys are 8 and 11, and they really love Hot Wheels cars. Now we're talking. I used to love Hot Wheels and Matchbox. I don't know which one's cheaper. They're still sold in a big bin for less than $1 at the store, and that's usually how I was able to get out of the grocery store when they were smaller. Well worth it. 88 cents. They still line them up, race them, trade them, and even wash them. I love that they still play on the ground with them because that won't last much longer, I fear. I love that. I might have to just get a Hot Wheel just for nostalgia's sake. Thanks for reminding me of that. I had a bunch. Yeah, I did. We play with them in the dirt. We make little dirt roads outside and jump them, and yeah, we washed them. Oh my gosh. And yeah, 88 cents. Is anything, I can't believe anything's 88 cents nowadays. That's a good bribe. If I was still teaching, I'd bribe kids with those. That'd be what I'd totally do. Oh my gosh. And Cynthia's tuned in live on Facebook, which we usually don't go live on Facebook, but she says, I remember taking a road trip to Walt Disney World playing the Lilo and Stitch soundtrack all the way there. We had a little Lilo Happy Meal toy sitting on the dash that did a hula dance. How many times did you hear Hawaiian roller coaster ride on that trip? I love it. This is so much fun. Anyway, so if you have feedback for this show or any other show, share it for next week's show. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. All right, we're going a little bit long, so let's get to today's main topic, and it is one that I am excited to share because I was just upstairs 10 minutes ago or 20 minutes ago because the show's going forever, and I was walking out of my closet, and I said, Mallory, because she was sitting there eating a piece of toast. I said, Mallory, guess what? I'm doing a podcast all about this shirt. I said, and if I was watching the video, you can see. I said, I'm doing a whole podcast on this one shirt. And if you're not watching the video, which just so you know, you can see the video at youtube.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. This is my shirt that I get the most comments on of anything at all in my, all my clothes. And what it is, it's what I call my last day of school shirt. Now, I got this shirt over 20 years ago on a Walt Disney World vacation. And people ask me, like, where'd you get that shirt? That shirt's awesome. I can't remember exactly where I got the shirt. I either got it at the Emporium on Main Street at the Magic Kingdom, or part of me says I got this shirt there was a store at the ESPN restaurant, and there was like a side store next to it. And why I would get this there, because they sold a lot of ESPN stuff. But for the life of me, I think I got this there. I don't know why. But if you're not like watching the video, it's kind of like a Hawaiian like dressy shirt. It's that material like like the Hawaiian shirt with a collar. But what it is the ultimate collection of Walt Disney World. It's not even all Walt Disney World, though, when you dive into this shirt, because I'm going to talk about this shirt. It's like if Walt Disney World plus a few other things like all threw up onto a shirt. And I love this shirt because it's colorful, it's red, it's black, it's all the purples and greens. But what it has, I always wore this. I'd wear it once on vacation, like when I first got it. When I went to Walt Disney World, I'd wear this like back in the early 2000s and after that. But I'd always wear this when I was a teacher on the last day of school because the kids loved it. Because, I'd always tell the kids, like, what are you going to do this summer? And that was always my question on the last day of school. I'd always ask them, like, what are you guys going to do this summer? And, we'd go around and they'd be like, yeah, I'm going to play baseball or, Craig's asking about, was that the trip with ants? Yes, we did have ants in the Entenmann's donuts we left in the car. That was in the Monty. Yes, that was, sorry. I didn't see that comment on Instagram. Yeah. Oh God, that was a mess. I forgot about the ants in the Monty. We had to take the Monty and vacuum it out. Good memory. Anyway, yes, I wore the shirt because I would ask the kids, like, what are you doing this summer? But this was the shirt of every summer. We would always take a trip to Walt Disney World. So a lot of my kids had never been to Walt Disney World, but this shirt had so many things on it. It was a talking point. So so we're going to talk about what this shirt has on it real quick and how many of these things are still around, but how many of these things are not around anymore. So dead center in the shirt, Donald Duck. Okay. Donald Duck's still around. But next to it's a logo for the Dino Institute. Not around much longer. Dino Institute over at Dinoland USA sign. Yep, that's gone now. There's a big dinosaur right above it. Sign for the Living Seas. Okay, that's still around. The dinosaur, that ride, that must have been hot at the time. That must have been the new attraction. There's Spaceship Earth. You can see Spaceship Earth. So God help us if that goes away. There's a sign for Blizzard Beach storm slides, speed slides. So some Blizzard Beach right here on my shirt. Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm glad that's on my shirt. All the signs for the ferry boat and the Magic Kingdom monorail signs. Love that the TTC is represented on this shirt. Right in the middle, Main Street Electrical Parade. Right there. I mean, that was showing at this time at the Magic Kingdom. So you had your nighttime parade. Then you got a little Pluto. That's very cool. Got a monorail sign. Oh, here's another thing. The Neverland Club. Do you guys remember the Neverland Club? That was over at the Polynesian. It was a place where kids could go. It's kind of like babysitting for the kids over at the Polynesian. Oh, RIP. Jelly Rolls. RIP over at the Boardwalk. Pleasure Island. RIP Pleasure Island with mannequins. It's got a sign for mannequins. The dance club. Oh my gosh. Let's see here. It's got a sign for Downtown Disney, the old Downtown Disney before Disney Springs, RIP. Let's see what else we have. It has a Hollywood and Vine sign. That's still around. Okay, we got that. Let's see what else do we have here. It's got the signs from Rock and Roller Coaster. Is that still around? I guess we got a few more days for that. The Lily Bell. Nope, not anymore. Let's see. Looking closely, Tusker House is represented on here. Who'd have thought they'd have Tusker House, a restaurant that is so buried back in Animal Kingdom, but it's here on the shirt and it's still around. All right, let's go back to the backside of my shirt. If you're sneaking up on me, what do you see? Let's see here. Bistro de Paris in Epcot. Comedy Warehouse. Oh, RIP. That was back in Pleasure Island. The Main Street Cinema. That's still around. Carousel of Progress. That's still around. The Pin Station at Disney's MGM Studios. RIP. Haunted Mansion. Okay. World of Disney. That's on here. The Chefs de France. That's here. The Tiki Birds. Tropical Serenade. San Angel Inn is on my shirt. I like that, man. They jammed so many things in one shirt. There's Goofy. I like that. Liberty Tree Tavern is on my shirt. Let's see here. La Pirata El Perico. Well, that is gone because that's going to be the new adults. What's that going to be? The adults bar like the Geo 82 that's coming to Magic Kingdom. What else do we have? Oh, Alfredo's at Epcot. Oh, we went there at our first anniversary back in the day. That's no longer around. What a shame. Cali River Rapids. Cali Rapids. There's Chippendale. They're still with us. Let's see here. Hollywood Scoops Ice Cream at the studios. I think that's still there, right? That's there. The Disney Wonder and the Disney Magic logos. So we had two Disney Cruise Line ships. I don't know how they got on my shirt, but I guess they were hot at the time. Oh, a logo for 50's Primetime Cafe. Let's go. One of my favorite restaurants. They're on here. Anything else? Disney Quest. It's hidden in here. Disney Quest is in here. Yes. So all of this, all that stuff I just mentioned is on one shirt. So tell me that isn't the ultimate shirt right there. It's got both Disney Cruise Line ships that were around at the time, the Wonder and the Magic, and all those attractions. It's got Pleasure Island. It's the best of Pleasure Island, the best of the studios, some of the coolest things about Epcot, some of the coolest things about Magic Kingdom. It's got a little Animal Kingdom, Tusker House, not much more. Little MGM Studios action with Hollywood and Vine and, Scoops and stuff like that. But this was a great way to show my sixth graders of what I was getting ready to do for the summer. And every time I wear this shirt, somebody finds something in that shirt that they love. Like, oh my gosh, I see the Disney Wonder logo, or I see Tusker House, or I remember Disney Quest, or I love, everybody finds something nostalgic about this shirt. And the thing is, every year, this shirt gets more nostalgic. Oh my gosh, I forgot Mouse Gear's on here. How many people spent time in Mouse Gear and loved it over Creation Shop? It was way better. And there's Rock and Roller Coaster right there. There's the Rock and Roller Coaster cars blasted off. You know, I don't know. You guys know me. I'm a nostalgic, right? I love the old times because I got to make so many great memories, and I still continue to make new memories every time I go down. I made tons of great memories last week when I went down with the work trip. It was fun, and because we get to make new memories all the time. But I always do hold on to the old times, right? I mean, I love the times I got to have at Pleasure Island. It was New Year's Eve every night. Like you'd be in July sweating your butt off. But hey, it's New Year's Eve. We're out there in the streets and the countdown's going off. We shoot off fireworks. And so when I see the Pleasure Island logo, boom, I'm taken right back to those trips. And I remember the smell of mouse gear. It didn't always smell good, but it was so like of its time of the early 2000s. I love seeing that on that shirt. So I don't know. Like, I think that's why I like collecting, souvenirs are special to me for that reason. Like this shirt, when I put this shirt on, it reminds me of all the trips I've taken and also all those times I had talking about Disney with my sixth graders. It takes me back to the last day of school because I even put this shirt on when I surprised Pam on her last day of teaching a couple of weeks ago. I didn't tell her I was going to meet her at her class, but on her last day of school forever, when she retired, she didn't have anybody going up, but I decided to sneak into her class the last day, brought her some flowers and brought her that book, Oh, the Places You'll Go by Dr. Seuss. But I wore that shirt because that was my tradition. Excuse me. My tradition was to wear that shirt on the last day of school, and it was her last day of school. So it's kind of fun. So anyway, that's Mike in the Midwest for this weekend. Not very, this is what it is. It's just me rambling about a fun topic. Hopefully you had some fun with it. Maybe you have a shirt, a hat, some article of clothing that is, you got a tradition that you busted out for the first night of a cruise, the last night of your Walt Disney World vacation. You wear it on the plane. I don't know. You wear it. Maybe you're a teacher. You wear it on the first day of school, last day of school, whatever. Share your story. It's patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. I'd love to share it on next week's show. But until we get back together again, I hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll have the live call-in show Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We'll still have it even with Father's Day. So give us a call. We'll be talking Disney. So until then, you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All righty, everybody. Hope you have a great Friday night. Thanks for joining me. Thanks again, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.